I'm Heidi and welcome to Heidi in the Country. Today I'm going to take you on a tour of what the garden and the vegetable plot looks like mid-April. April's been a really strange month in the UK. We've had days like this, glorious sunshine, and we've had snow. We've had some of the most severe frost I've ever known in an April. And the weird thing is we've had no April showers yet. So overnight we had a smattering of rain. It wasn't enough. So I'm going to have to do some watering today amongst the other jobs. Just while I'm here, just look at these tulips. Aren't they just beautiful? Just starting to come out here. So join me as I walk around the garden. Grab yourselves a cup of tea and some snacks and sit back and relax. So looking at these little purple pots, I have about 20 of them, and they are aubrietas that I have been nursing. And they go right the way along the wall. And these are the mauve coloured aubrietas, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to plant them today, and hopefully over the years they will spread and they will cover this wall in a carpet of the mauve flowers. So I have my trusty trowel, and because there's been no water and because there's been no rain in April, I've got a watering can full of Water But water. This is from the Alan Titchmarsh collection. It's about 20 years old, so the blue is coming off, but it is a lovely galvanised watering can with a copper rose. So the front garden mid-April, not a lot has changed here. Definitely decided that this is going, this one at the back here is going, this will be staying because it's the most beautiful blossom. No idea what this is, so if anyone knows, please leave in the comments. And this one is going, and they're going to be replaced by the white hydrangeas I currently have in the back garden. The other changes, the doves are out. It's a beautiful day, so we've been for a drive in those. This border has really been hit by the frost, so looking at the magnolia, it's very sad. Well, yeah, what can I say? Very, very sad. Blossoms all gone. And then the same for the new prunus trees. Blossom got really hit back. Now the big change here is, I think you can just about see that, that is where the shepherd's hut's going. So the olive tree will be moved and there will be a shepherd's hut arriving in the next few weeks. We are buying a kit form one, so we are buying the wheels, the base and the structure, and then we are creating our own shepherd's hut, and this will be where guests can stay. So it will have a bedroom, a tiny composting toilet in it, and a sink. Like I said, nothing much changed here except for look at these glorious tulips. These were pre-existing in this garden. Absolutely beautiful. So things are starting to come out, but as I say, not a lot of change here. This is my Victorian plant stand. It has several variations of planting through the year. Currently I've got the primroses and the daisies on there, who haven't suffered too much in the frost. the wall just gone over. So we had the muscaries in there, and then this side, if you remember from my last video, this was where we had all of the little narcissi. Oh, they were stunning. Big change coming here. We've got the 2 pots of dahlias. The dinner plate dahlias are going to be going there. And then the other thing to show you in the front garden is how the sedums have overwintered. So they've just had a brand new layer of gravel put on top of them, and this is to stop splash damage and a bit of a tidy up, but I think they've overwintered really well. Side border, these foxgloves are just romping away now. I'm so excited to see which colours these are. A bit of a mixed bag, I think. I believe they're the native pink and maybe some whites, but we will wait and see. Lots and lots of the forget-me-nots. We've got the hostas coming up. Now I have to say, I'm impressed with the sheep's wool slug pellets so far, because normally I would expect to see slug damage onto these by now, but there has been none, so fingers crossed. I think there's another one here we can look at. I think you agree that there has been no nibbling on those fellas. Hello, Lincoln. Are you all still experiencing hellebore joy? I know I am. I can't believe it. This year we seem to have had the most amazing display of hellebores. This being my favourite, the tutu. So this border I've never been shown before because it's been behind the V-dubs. Just look at those daffodils. I don't think I've ever seen any like that, with the frilly yellow edges. Lots and lots of stinging nettles, a euonymus at the back. Yes, I think this needs a really good weed out. But again, look at these hellebores. Just stunning. And then this goes to the land behind all of our buildings and the chicken run. So this is a great opportunity to check on the sweet potato. As you can see, lots of root growth. But more excitingly, can you see the slip shoots? There's 4 in total. These appeared yesterday, and it's from these that the sweet potatoes will grow. So what happens is you cut off the slips when they get to about 6 inches tall. That's a shoot. You then pop them into water to root, discarding your potato. And it's from these vines that you get your sweet potatoes. I'm really chuffed. That's the first time I've ever done slips. So let's hope we get some good growth from the top of this sweet potato. They're definitely there. Let's celebrate some of the successes amongst all of the frosty problems in the garden. Well, unbelievable. As I was saying earlier, April's weather's been strange. We've had the brilliant sunshine of this morning, and now it is trying to snow again. I don't think the camera's going to pick it up. Definite flakes in the air. So the wishing well, the robins keep moving the moss, looking for their worms. I've been feeding the mealworms every day, and they come down and they're expecting it now. But the muscari, the hyacinths, look really pretty in there. And then we're just about to get a really good show from the tulips. And a bit more of the china and stuff that we found in the garden. Going through, we realised the camellias are in the wrong place. There's one there, one there. They will be moved. And also going through this border this morning, we think that the hydrangeas are in the wrong place. They are really going to ruin the view of the garden, so they will be lifted. They have been treated as a nursery plant, so they are in pure compost in there, so they could be easily lifted. And that's just a tip for anyone: if you put a plant and you're unsure if you like where it is, pot it into the ground, into pure compost, and then it's easier to lift. Okay, we have successes and we have failures, and my failure was forgetting to fleece when there's a massive frost on the way. So my beautiful camellia, which would have been stunning, has been annihilated. Thanks, Mr. Frosty. Around the pond you can start to see all of the forget-me-nots. There's some oriental poppies in here, and the maples are just about showing leaf. Got some delphiniums in here that I planted when we first moved in. I'm going to keep the Dickensiana, the tree fern, covered over. And we've got some tulips, hellebores. This bench is an amazing place to sit. It gets the evening sun. It's really lovely and warm. Going through here, I did have lots of Verbinia Valencia, and that has now been cut down, and there are shoots on it, so that is ready to nod its purple heads through the border. Look at this rubus. Isn't it stunning? And you can really smell it. It smells very curranty. It is the currant family. So the Poundland forsythias are in the back there, and they will fill that area. I'm going to keep them limited in height so that we can get as much light as we can into the allotment plot. Going through the back area. I'm going to go up into the plum tree. Can you see it? Look at this. All we need now is this weather to pick up so the buzzy bumblebees can come out and pollinate them. Otherwise we are not going to have many plums. Likewise the apple tree, a bit shy at the moment, not out, but we will need pollinators into that as well. I talked earlier about the sheep's wool, and it seems to be working. Look at these. Variegated hostas are notorious for being slug fodder, and as you can see, it's holding them off. I've got a mixture of the mussel shells in here and the sheep's wool, and that seems to be preventing Mr. Slug at the moment. Hellebore again. I think this is an area of the garden that's had the biggest change. Not only have we cut the hedge down, the hedge is not even a third of what it was. You won't remember really, because it was a very bleak picture here when we first moved in. All the raised beds had started to crumble and detour, and then we found that quite a lot of the soil was full of roots and it was very poor. It's taken a while. I've had to sieve through all the soil in these beds, and believe me, it's not there yet. It's going to need a bit more sieving. But this part really looks like we mean business this year. So giving up my allotment of 9 years was very hard for me. But the benefit of having this at the end of the garden is incredible. And I intend to pack it full of vegetables. The thing I've learned with having an allotment is just grow what you like. I used to find that I would be growing loads and loads of broad beans, and we're not that keen. So I've only got 2 rows there, and in total I think there's 8 plants there. And what I do with the broad beans is mash them with garlic. I don't like broad beans, but they were given to me. You can break my rules, by the way. I certainly do. Right, the asparagus bed. The hens had a few tips. There is one tip there. Oh. I don't know if I'm going to keep it. It's not very productive to have one bed given over to a product that gives you a minimal harvest and a short season. And asparagus is cheap as chips when it's in season, and that's when I want to eat it anyway. So see how it goes, see if we get any more tips come up. I've just seen another one now when I'm chatting away to you, but I think I will give it over. We always talk about the garlic. It's doing really, really well. The second row of shallots, if you try to pull these out now, they are well rooted in, so they are underway. At the back here, we've got the loganberries and the Faunus blackberries. They're going to take a little bit of training. The onions, and then these broad beans. Now if we look closely, can we see any of the beans forming? Not yet. A little bit early for them. But I'm really shocked at how healthy they look, given that they've had a really hard winter. The worms, they're doing really well. There's quite a lot of productivity in there from them. In fact, I'll just take you to what the worms produced. So this is the worm castings. There's a few things that they haven't managed to eat, which is eggshell, which is notoriously hard for them. And this is where I'm going to be growing my courgettes. Courgettes are really greedy. Just do a bit of a spin. Hopefully I won't make you feel sick. Fruit veg, still coming on really well. And then in the background you can hear my girls chattering away, laying 3 eggs a day now. So that's really good. So they're now reached maturity. The steps up to the allotment that go via the chickens next to the stables. Look at this. These are the bulbs that I brought with me from my allotment, and they're meant to be the ones that I use for cutting. But I think I'm going to leave them at the moment. I'm really enjoying the journey down to the allotment with the forget-me-nots and the bulbs. So the underplanting near the stable block has carried on through the last month with lots more foxgloves, hellebores. I don't know what the real name for these are, but I call them elephant's ears, and they have a pink flower on them. So forget-me-nots coming through, some geraniums, and then this is the patch of that massive daisy that I've started to dig up, and I will carry on today. So the stable block apple trees and pear trees are showing leaf on their spurs, and that's a really good sign considering they had a really hard prune. And as we want to make our own cider this year, let's hope we get a really good production from them. And the same for this one. This was a russet. Beautifully tasty apple. But can you see there's blossom in there? All good signs. Spring is coming. And just bring on those pollinators. Through this border we've got a lot of the wallflowers. These were the 50p wallflowers I bought from the Dobbies Garden Centre. Really pleased with how they've come on. It just goes to show, don't give up hope on a plant. Talking of which, look how the ceanosis is doing. If you remember, this was all brown and gnarly, and it's looking really zingy green now. Down in here we've got the roses. So that's the antique rose from B&Q. Really doing well. Oh, this was one of the joys of coming out this morning. Look at the fritarias. These are snake's head fritarias. And after thinking that I'd discovered them here and what an excitement that was, I remembered I actually planted them. There you go. This here is chickweed. I'm just about to pull this up and give it to the chickens. It's quite a handy little plant through the winter months. You can actually eat it. Look at the little flowers on it, but it is a weed, and it is a very aggressive weed, so it's coming out. Another snake's head area, and my husband is putting a loft in his garage. Wow, unbelievably, I can't believe I'm filming this. It is snowing yet again, mid-April, and it's definitely snowing. Incredible. What strange weather we're having in the UK.
So it was so hot earlier, I made myself an iced tea. Cheers, British weather. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe and press that notification bell to be updated with further Heidi in the Garden videos. Have a lovely rest of the day, guys, wherever you may be in the UK. Hopefully you're not experiencing weather like this.